Hello and welcome to Valkenswaard for the opening round of the 2012 FIM MX1 Motocross World Championship. We're at the circuit of the Netherlands. It's a little bit blustery, overcast, maybe rain due a little later on. We had a lot of rain during the night, but it's only made the circuit that little bit better. My name's Paul Malin. As always, I'm going to be taking you through each lap of this 2012 World Championship at starting here with Valkenswaard in the Netherlands. Well, the nearest major town is Eindhoven, about 15 minutes up the road from here, actually. More famous for the electronics firm Philips, which was founded way back in 1891 by the two Philips brothers, Gerard and Anton. But we've been coming back to this venue since 1974. That was the first ever Grand Prix here in Valkenswaard. 250 class that was, and it was won by Sylvain Gabors on the Suzuki. We've had 36 Grand Prix staged here in all categories, as well as the Motocross of Nations. Of course, 1991, Americans won that weekend with Jeff Stanton, Damon Bradshaw and Mike Kudrowski. But as long as FIM, MX1 and MX2, we've also had the MX3 and the Women's Motocross World Championship. They're here this weekend, so it's been something of a full house, and still got a lot to look forward to as well. We've just seen the MX2 race go. The MX1s are lining up as we speak. Circuit here, 1,500 metres long, quite open, more open than it has been in previous years. A lot of riders talking about that over the course of the weekend, saying how fast it was on Sunday during the practice sessions. Of course, we're on Easter weekend, Bank Holiday Monday is race day here. Everybody kind of out of kilter with all of that, but we've still got a good crowd here up on the bank, obviously trying to see.
Okay, we're here on the start line for the first race of MX1. David Philippart, you had a great qualifying yesterday. How are you feeling going into this race?
Hello everybody. Yeah, I feel good. Today a little bit water in the track. Yesterday I feel good. I finished 4, but my last time is good, lap time, and I'm happy. Just see today is my first GP after 9 months now, and I'm happy come there, and we see what happens. Hello.
Thank you very much. We're going to go have a word with Kevin now. Kevin, you had a good qualifying yesterday too. The weather's obviously changed overnight. Is that going to change any of the setup on your bike?
No, not really. You know, made a small changement on the front fork in the morning, and I think I feel good. You know, I know it's a long race, and yeah, everything can happen. So we'll see.
And do you enjoy the track here at Valkenswaard?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I like the sand, and I feel good. So yeah.
All right, all the best this weekend. I'm just going to move over now to Ken. Ken, it's a new bike and a new team for you. How are you feeling on the KTM?
Quite good, really. Didn't have so many rides, but yeah, I feel strong enough through the winter, so I'll see how it goes, and hopefully a good start will make it easier.
Absolutely, with good luck. Let's go and see the race. Last year, it was the case of what might have been for Monster Energy Yamaha in MX1. But both riders, David Philippart and Stephen Frossard, failed to finish the season through crashes and injuries. We're going to go and have a chat with them now and see how they're feeling coming into this opening Grand Prix, as well as having a quick chat with Sean Simpson.
The question, I guess, is the same every year, but the target is also the same every year. So obviously we are going for the World Championship as a Yamaha. I think as a leading brand, we have to go for the World Championship every year, obviously.
And you've had, up to now, a pretty consistent pre-season with Stephen. He's just taken the Italian Championship again. How's his form looking this year?
Stephen's looking really good. For us, the pre-season races are very important, but most actually they are important for a real training. But if you win a national championship, of course, this is very nice. But Stephen's looking really strong. He's been practicing really well during winter time. But I would like to say not only Stephen, but also David. I mean, David, the way that he came back after being injured since August last year, and the way he was riding in the first race this year, he was really, really strong. And that's really difficult, because if you don't train for a long time because of injury, you really need to have a lot of training to get back to the top level. He's back at the top level already. So I'm really expecting a lot from both riders. Also Sean, is now also on Yamaha. So for us, this is also important because he's a little bit younger, and I expect him to do well as well and to really surprise some people.
I'm happy now. We return in the race. This race, my first this year, to the GP, and I'm happy come back here in Valkenswaard. And yeah, I'm good recover, and I ride good on the bike now, and I'm so happy. Yeah.
And you had a good race here last year in Valkenswaard. You finished on the podium. Are you looking for another good result this weekend?
Yeah, we try. Now it's long time, come in the GP. Now it's 8 months. Start one GP race, but we try the same last year. But I want to try every race better and better. Stay in the podium and finish in good position every race.
Stephen, you were MX1 rookie last year. You took 5 race wins. Are you feeling the pressure this year to perform?
No, for the moment I feel good, but no, I don't feel the pressure. I must ride like I did last year, and we will see in the end of the season.
You had a bit of a tough race here last year. What are you going to try and do differently?
I think I must be more consistent, because last year I did some mistake, a big mistake on some race. So if I stay consistent during the season, I think I can fight for the title.
So Sean, it's a new season and a new team. You obviously like riding in the sand. What are you expecting from this weekend and of course the year ahead?
Yeah, as I say, we've been given the opportunity from Yamaha Europe and Steve Dixon Yamaha to ride factory material for the 2012 season. I think it's a great opportunity for myself, as I've been coming off a couple of bad seasons. I think with KTM I didn't really perform how I wanted to, and last year with the LS Honda team I didn't really get the results or the overall championship position that I wanted. So coming into this year I'm looking forward to it. The bike's running really well. We've had a good pre-season, no injuries, touch wood, and I think this weekend Valkenswaard, it's been a good track to me in the past, and I think I'm looking forward to having a good result here and being consistent throughout the season, hopefully inside the top 10.
Defending champion Tony Cairoli lines up on the start line. He was, of course, fastest in the qualifying race yesterday. Won it by about 8.1 seconds over Clement de Sal on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki. Then it was Stephen Frossard, David Philipparts and Kevin Strybos, with Kender Dijker on the new KTM in for the injured Max Nagel down in 6th. Had a Gauthier Paulin up from MX2, of course, this year, and Tanel Leop, teammate to Clement de Sal this year at Suzuki. 9th was Xavier Borg on the Kawasaki ahead of Rui Gonçalves. Gonçalves finished in 10th position, but his teammate, Evgeny Bobryshev, had a big crash in practice yesterday on Sunday and tweaked his thumb, got some kind of like pulled muscle or ligament or whatever, but he clobbered a post in the qualifying race on the opening lap, squashed the pipe, had absolutely no power and couldn't complete more than one lap in this qualifying race yesterday. So Evgeny Bobryshev is going to have to start right on the outside of the grid. But any other notable performances? Well, for the wrong reasons, really. Matis Caro, who was on the charge in 18th in the opening part of the qualifying race, ended up crashing out spectacularly down in 37th. But Jonathan Barragan had an up and down qualifying from 22nd up to 17th and then down to 20th by the end of the flag. So not good for him, but he's won here in the past, so don't be surprised if Jonathan Barragan will maybe spring a surprise on that LS Honda this weekend. Tony Cairoli, though, gets his head down as he prepares for the first race of 2012. The MX1 guys hit the first turn here in Valkenswaard. And it's Christophe Pourcel, who had a poor qualifying yesterday down in 16th place, who grabs that all-important Holeshot but gets squeezed in the first couple of corners as other riders go down as well through the second turn. But it's Kender Dijker, no, Tony Cairoli, who leads here. So Cairoli comes out of turn 3 into turn 4. Oh, heavy landing there. So too for the Monster Energy Yamaha. Everybody jumping through there. Porcel down in third place at the moment as he's gone up the inside of Sal. Clement Sal, though, fighting back early on. He doesn't want Cairoli to get too far away from him, not even in this early stage of the competition. But there's Tony Cairoli, the MX1 Red Bull Factory KTM rider, looking to pick up from where he left off last year. He's obviously been the Sandmaster here the past couple of seasons himself. And he's got Frossard just behind him, 183 on the Monster Energy Yamaha. Those rain clouds are looming in, so don't be surprised if we get a big dumping of rain during the course of this first MX1 race. And already Tony Cairoli and Stephen Frossard looking to pull clear in the early stages of this first moto. A little bit of arm pump for Stephen Frossard yesterday in the qualifying race. Allowed Tony Cairoli just to pick his way from third or fourth place in the early stages to win comfortably in the end. There's Ken de Dijker, our on-board camera in this first MX1 moto, as he is going after the likes of David Philipparts there just ahead of him, and maybe even Kevin Strybos, I think, on the HM Plant UK KTM machine. A few spots of rain on our camera lens. Tony Cairoli just grabbing the Teros. Frossard, a big leap over the triple, lost some time, gained it right back again. And that just emphasises how big and brave you have to be to get over that triple jump. Over the line for the first time then, and it's Cairoli from Stephen Frossard. Clement de Sal there in the background in yellow as he bursts through. The Kawasaki behind him is Xavier Borg, and then Gauthier Paulin. Kevin Strybos in 6th, David Philipparts in 7th, Christophe Porcel down in 8th, Ken de Dijker 9th, Heron Bracker is 10th, and then it's Ruben Salves just in 11th place. Milko Podolski, second in the MX3 World Championship last year. He's in 12th ahead of Davide Guarnieri, Marcus Schiffer, Martin Barr, Mattis Caro 16th, Nathan Parker in 17th, then Matteo Bonini, Mike Grass and Tino Leo. They are your top 20 riders at the moment in this opening moto. There's Gauthier Paulin, he's found a way past Xavier Borg, his teammate. Bobryshev in 21st place on that Honda. Then it's Sean Simpson, Jonathan Barragan, Gert Kresenov, Cedric Subarat, Nico Koskela in 26th place. The rain's starting to fall here in Valkenzoard on the second lap. Then we've got Alfie Smith, Anthony Boissier buried down the pack. Gregory Aranda in 31st. And Sebastian Porcel down in 36th. Nicolas Aubin down in 39th. Our last rider out on track on the Bill-based Honda at the moment. There's Paulin. Paulin there in 5th place at the moment. And Tony Cairoli not being allowed to escape from the wayward Stephen Frossard there, 183 on that Monster Energy Yamaha. Cairoli, 9 race wins last year for Tony Cairoli. Stephen Frossard took his fair share, 5 race wins as well throughout the course of the season, so proving more than a match for the likes of Tony Cairoli and Clement de Sal before de Sal got injured. Here's de Dijker on board. He's got Cairoli, his teammate there. Look at that. Ken de Dijker just getting caught by Christophe Porcel. Going through that first turn. There's de Sal coming into view on the left. Strybos gets parked, but manages to recover and just keep it up on 2 wheels. Did well not to stall it there, actually. But over the line then for the official time, the first official lap complete. 1:58.2 for Antonio Cairoli. Is 1.6 seconds clear of Stephen Frossard. De Sal, though, looks to be picking up the pace with a 1:58. So already quicker than Stephen Frossard in that 3rd position. Then we've got Gauthier Paulin there in 4th. Then the 2nd of the green Kawasaki's here, 1-2-1. Xavier Borg in 5th. Strybos there, 22 in 6th place. Then David Philipparts on the Monster Energy Yamaha down in 7th. Then Ken de Dijker, Christophe Porcel now making progress tonight. And Ruben Salves now in 10th place. Bobryshev up to 15th. So the Honda World Motocross MX1 machine of Evgeny Bobryshev, even though riding with a sprained thumb, he's making good progress through the field here, and many feel that the Hondas this year have really stepped up their game in terms of their overall performance. So don't be surprised if you don't see Rui Gonçalves and Evgeny Bobryshev more and more up the front end of the leaderboard during this 2012 season. Of course, this opening round is one of those where if you can ride hard and ride well in the sand and be consistent, then you're going to pick up a whole bag full of points. Ken de Dijker, no stranger to winning here in the past, of course. Of course, only just getting that KTM ride in the replacement sort of Max Nagel. Max Nagel injured, not going to be back until maybe France at Saint-Jean-d'Angely at the beginning of June. As Frossard disappears over the top of the Camelback. Oh, that looked closer than it probably was. Got a little bit close to that tough block there, but Stephen Frossard trying to keep Cairoli in his sights, and you kind of feel at the moment, who's that gone out? 171 Pierfilippo Bertuzzo. Oh, the Massignani Racing Honda machine. Tony Cairoli a little bit short on the triple jump, having to bounce his way off the top, but he was closer. Oh, is that Bobryshev gone down again? So Bobryshev has gone down big time. We were just talking about how he'd got himself up in the 15th position after a poor start, and he's gone down, and that is before the camelback. Or is that coming out of the same place where he crashed yesterday? So bad news then for Evgeny Bobryshev and the Honda World Motocross team. And he was already pulling his groin yesterday after a big, spectacular get-off. After that triple jump, the left-hander that followed, and then the single on the approach to the finish line jump yesterday is where he got spat off the bike as the back end cross-rutted and threw him down the straight, tweaked his thumb, tweaked his groin. And Bobryshev, wow, a tough start to the season for many who have tipped him to be certainly a regular podium finisher. Cairoli looking to get in his stride now. He's just starting to creep out a little bit of time and space between himself and Stephen Frossard. Frossard obviously not the strongest sand rider, but he's a strong competitor, and he won't let the small thing, the minor thing of not being able to ride as strongly in the sand as Tony Cairoli bother him too much, I would feel. I thought it was maybe somewhere around this part of the circuit where Bobryshev went, but maybe it's in the opposite direction. So Cairoli then, 158.5 last time around. Frossard, though, did set the fastest lap by about a half a second over Cairoli. Here
so
we are
we have
down
a
in the
new
grid.
venue to look forward to in June. I have with me here the organiser of the Belgian Grand Prix. How are things shaping up in Bastogne?
Yeah, everything is in good conditions today. We are working hard, and we will be on time for the GP. And we will invite everybody to be there because it will be something special.
Awesome. Well, we will look forward to that in June.
Yeah, new venue on the calendar this year. Well, we've got two new venues, actually. Bastogne in Belgium, down in the south of the country, and also we've got Semiguri in Russia in July 22nd weekend. So a 16-round series this year. Of course, no Lommel on the calendar. That's going to play host to the Monster Energy Motocross of Nations at the end of September. And, of course, we all look forward to getting that. But we're at the opening round of the 2012 FIM Motocross World Championship. It's the opening MX1 race of the season. Tony Cairoli already in the front of the field where he wants to be. Oh, nice move there. A little bit of a heavy landing, though, for Stephen Frossard as he continues to pursue Tony Cairoli at the head of the field. Commander Sal in third place. Gautier Paulin all over the back of him on that factory Kawasaki, the official entry for the Kawasaki squad. That's him there, number 21, the former world BMX champion, former European motocross champion, and also the Grand Prix winner of the last round last year at Fermo when he moved up to MX1. Of course, he was riding the Monster Energy Yamaha then. Oh, nice line there from Commander Sal. Equally nice there for Gautier Paulin as well, doubling his way through, landing on the downside of one of those holes, using that to his full advantage, doubling in through there. Nice as well. So, gaining time through there on Commander Sal was Gautier Paulin. But Commander Sal, yesterday in the qualifying race, was just happy to pick his way through the field, nice and cleverly, actually. Started down in fifth, a couple of laps later he was up in the fourth, then he got to third, eventually posted second in what was quite a measured and well-calculated performance. Probably just needs a few laps to settle down. There's Frossard disappearing over the tabletop in the distance. Commander Sal getting over the triple jump. So too Gautier Paulin into this final corner here to complete what is now their fourth lap. Cairoli still has the close attentions of Stephen Frossard to deal with. So we have a KTM leading the way here. The Yamaha of Frossard takes a tighter line, gets better drive there, gets through the waves just a little bit cleaner than Cairoli, and he's almost alongside him as they approach, and he's going around the outside, and he's found a way through Stephen Frossard. So Stephen Frossard is our new race leader with 24.5 minutes to go. Cairoli, though, probably won't be too worried about that, especially when Frossard's riding a little bit on the edge like he was just then. But Cairoli will probably just be comfortable to follow Stephen Frossard in the early stages of this race and let him make the work and make the mistakes potentially. But Stephen Frossard, well, once he gets a sniff of the lead as well, he's going to get his head down and try to push on as hard as he can. Cairoli knows that as well, but it's the opening round. Can't win the championship today, but you can certainly lose it. Look at this, Cairoli out to the left. Frossard got good drive already coming out of that previous corner. I wonder if Cairoli was balked there by the fact that he couldn't get quite over to the right side, and then watch this. Frossard was nice through there earlier, but then just got bounced, and then he hit the hole. But at the moment, though, it's Frossard who leads. 23.5 minutes on the clock, plus 2 laps, so we're still in the early stages of this opening MX1 race of 2012. We're at Valkenswaard in the Netherlands, a very tough circuit on the calendar. Probably one of the toughest, of course. We've got a tougher one to come in Lierop towards the end of September. But for now, these guys in MX1 and MX2 being put through their paces on what is a very challenging circuit. There's Stephen Frossard. We just saw him make a mistake and get away with it. He's overtaken the lead of this race, and he's our new race leader officially now on lap 5, so he leads his first full lap in the same place where he went out last year. He makes a mistake and goes over the turn and hands back that victory, or that lead, should I say, to Antonio Cairoli. And we just saw a couple of mistakes there, and one big one that cost him the lead. Cairoli goes back into the front, and the Sal now breathing down his neck. So too Gauthier Paulin. So the battle is for second position. Tony Cairoli, well, he was probably just going to be content to sit in that second position behind Stephen Frossard, but I rather feel now that Cairoli just going to pull the pin and go.
Stephen's having another great race today. How's it going?
It's going really well. He just made a very small mistake, but he's still very close behind Tony. I think this is excitement. This is what the fans want to see. It's a long race. I hope he can still come back and still pass and go for the first place.
Well, we still believe in him.
Sorry?
We still believe in him.
Oh, absolutely, of course. Yeah, it's a long race. It's a long race. He's very fit, so I think it's going to be exciting until the end.
Thank you very much.
Racing manager for Yamaha Europe. You'll see him at MotoGP, World Superbike and all kind of events, Lawrence Klein Court Camp. But this weekend we're privileged to have him with us here in the motocross fraternity. And Cairoli, though, the beneficiary of that mistake from Stephen Frossard that Lawrence was talking about just a moment ago. Paulin now into third position, having found his way through on Clément de Sal, the Belgian. So we've got an Italian lead and a couple of Frenchies, and the Belgian, as they come through to start lapping some slower riders here. Frossard, he just has to regroup. It'd be interesting to see, actually, with Stephen Frossard, how much that would have affected his concentration. He catches a hay bale there as well, runs off the track, and can't get back on here either. So two more riders go through. Gauthier Paulin and Clément de Sal, so he just needs to settle down to Stephen Frossard. Watch this here. Catches the tough block, or the hay bale, runs off track, tried to get on the gas and go through, couldn't get through the fencing there, and then eventually just had to pull on. So we've got now Cairoli, Paulin de Sal, Frossard. They are your top 4. Kevin Strybos down in 5th place. He's about 8 seconds behind Stephen Frossard on the HM Plant KTM UK machine. Then we've got Xavier Bourg on the factory Kawasaki, teammate to this rider here, number 21, Gauthier Paulin. David Philippot, teammate to Stephen Frossard, is in 7th, and Ken de Dijker on a Red Bull KTM is 8th. Porcel Christophe is 9th, Rue Gonçalves 10th. Noel Leop, Sean Simpson in 12th place, Heron Bracker 13th, Marcus Schiffer, Milko Potizek, Jonathan Barragan, Gert Kressenoff, David Guineri, Mike Grass, Mattis Caro now inside the points in 20th position. On board with Ken de Dijker, obviously in that little battle with David Philippot. That's just Philippot's there, just ahead of him. The Belgians just trying to urge their man on. Ken de Dijker, Cedric Subarad just sitting on the cusp of the points at the moment, down in 21st place, ahead of Bonini and Gregory Aranda. Anthony Boissier up to 25th, so after his poor start. Nicolas Aubin now 31st. After the problems that he had. Nathan Parker, though, out of the moto after just 2 laps for the Steve Turner, the STR Racing KTM squad, riding on a wildcard entry this weekend. Nathan Parker. Ken de Dijker, though, Only picked up the bike about a week or so ago. The 450 from last year that Max Nagel rode. Obviously, they wouldn't lend the new machinery. There's only a couple of those in the world. Obviously, Ryan Dungey having one of those in America. Max Nagel having the other one, but not able to utilise it. He is here, though, Max Nagel, doing his duties for his teams and his sponsors and everything else, as you'd expect. Here's Pit Byra. Obviously having some audio problems there. Pit Byra, the motorsport manager for KTM, but guessing talking about Tony Cairoli and, of course, Ken de Dyker doing a good job as well for the team down there. But more importantly for KTM, of course, it means that their sponsors, they're getting riders out on the track, they're getting value for money and mileage as well. So Pit Byra, good to see him at the paddock always, as Ken de Dyker comes over the line to complete his 7th lap. He's down in 8th place at the moment, the big number 9. And still there, trying to pursue the number 19 of David Philipparts. Just a little bit wayward coming out of that second turn. Ken de Dyker doesn't get good drive through there. Bouncing his way through those waves, and obviously, if you cannot get the drive, then of course, that could be detrimental. He's lost a little bit of ground to David Philipparts, who himself trying to close in on Xavier Bourg, the 121. This is the battle for 6th place. Philipparts got on the podium here last year, I seem to recall. With, well, 2nd and a 4th were his finishes, and I think that was good enough for 3rd overall, but David Philipparts closer than he has been to Xavier Bourg, with 17.5 plus 2 to go. Bit of a bounce there, though, at the wrong time. Ken de Dyker has found some speed from somewhere in the last few corners, because he's reeled himself back to the rear end of that Monster Energy Yamaha of David Philipparts. Strybos, though, having a great ride. 8 seconds down on Clément Dessau. And Dessau down in 4th place at the moment. But he came over the line absolutely neck and neck, wheel to wheel with Steven Frossard. So Frossard actually moved back up into 3rd position that time around. So Frossard then going back after Gauthier Paulin to try and reclaim that 2nd place that he lost just a moment ago. Tony Cairoli over the line now to complete his 8th lap. Just looking at the gap between him and Gauthier Paulin, 7.8 seconds. And then only 2 seconds further back is Steven Frossard. So there's Rui Gonçalves, the Honda World MX1 motocross rider, down in 9th place. Won the Grand Prix here back in 2009 when he was an MX2 rider, with a 2nd and a 1st. Picking his way through that rhythm section, not jumping that big triple jump. Obviously, talking to 1 or 2 riders, those who haven't jumped it said it won't be jumped in the race anyway, because it'll be too jumpy, too sketchy, too rough. Obviously, there are still guys going out there and jumping it, so a bit too late to try it now, though. But Rui Gonçalves out on his own at the moment, 12 seconds behind Ken de Dyker, but only 3 seconds clear
down there, he looks so in
of
quite
Leon.
a bit of pain.
Yeah, the problem was that he was fighting already for the 11th position, coming from the 39 at the start, so he was doing pretty well. But the problem after he made a mistake trying to reach the first of the class. So he had a bad crash. We don't know yet what happened. Some conclusion for sure. So we will see what happened. Thanks.
We hope we see him at race 2.
We really hope so. Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Yeah, tough break for Evgeny Bobryshev going out in the 2nd lap of this first moto. There's his teammate, though. Rui Gonçalves down in 9th place. As I was saying a moment ago, a couple of 3 seconds clear of Tanel Leok, but on board with Ken de Dyker on the 2nd of the Red Bull KTMs, as he closes back in once more on the rear end of that Monster Energy Yamaha of David Philipparts. This is still the battle for 7th place. Just ahead of them, Xavier Bourg through that next turn. In fact, he's gone through on David Philipparts. So he's now all over the back of Xavier Bourg, is Ken de Dyker. So de Dyker maybe with a bit of a point to prove. He's on factory machinery on one of the more successful teams the last couple of seasons, of course, with KTM. Cairoli, twice a winner with the Austrian factory in the past 2 seasons, albeit on 350 machinery. But Xavier Bourg, is he tripling his way through here? Yes, he is, and Ken de Dyker jumps short. But de Dyker, you feel, making up for it elsewhere out on the circuit. That long, rangy body of his, able to hoist himself up over the holes in the ground. able just to soak things up just a little bit more. That was Philipparts making a mistake there. That's why Ken de Dijker went through. Philipparts just got a little bit too close to the barrier on the left side. De Dijker giving him no room in the next turn as he went through into 7th position. 9 laps complete. Cairoli, 10.5 seconds clear, but only 3/10 in it between Paulin and Frossard. So Frossard has pulled right back up to the rear wheel of Gauthier Paulin. So the battle for 2nd position is going to be on out on the circuit just ahead of these guys, because Stephen Frossard, well, after those mistakes that he made, he's going to be riding like a scolded cat. He's going to be angry underneath that helmet as De Dijker comes downhill, trying to challenge Xavier Borg at the bottom of the hill there. Going to rely on that 450 KTM to pull him out of the corner. And up the hill. Going to go round, is he, or is he going to switch to the inside? No, follows Xavier Borg pretty much wheel for wheel. Then he switches it out to the left, a little bit short. He's going to carry that momentum around here, though, is he? Again, gets balked as he hits those holes a little bit deeper than he wanted to, but a nice switch to the outside there. He's alongside. Xavier Borg is going to drop it in around the outside, and no reply there from Xavier Borg. So De Dijker now moves up into 6th place. And a mistake on the exit of the corner there for Xavier Borg. Just ran too wide coming out of there. Philipparts just being dropped off the back a little bit as well after his earlier mistake at the bottom of the hill. Looking for the leaderboard. Here we are. Well, there's who we are on board with. So Dessau now 2nd, Frossard 3rd, Paulin 4th. And that was the moment that Ken de Dijker moved back ahead of Xavier Borg. So we're 12.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Cairoli leads. He's 15 seconds clear of Clément Dessau. Stephen Frossard now 3rd. Paulin is 4th. So Dessau, the rider on the charge at the moment. And him and Frossard leaving Gauthier Paulin in their wake as they have to try and deal with the back markers. Nice line there from Dessau. Clever use of the bank. Landing that front end just in a slightly shallower hole as he came through that little chicane section going up the hill. Oh, look how brutal those holes are at the bottom, just on the way down the hill. Pretty fast through there yesterday it was. Clément Dessau on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki World MX1 machine. Despite being 15 seconds down, watch this here. He lands and then hits that little pocket. Remember, he's had 2 shoulder operations in the off-season, so that would be putting him and his shoulders to the test, and obviously no problems there whatsoever. He's a tough cookie, it's Clément Dessau. He'll be looking forward to the Belgian Grand Prix at Bastogne a little later on in the season in June. In the southern part of the country, that's where he's from. I'm expecting, as is everybody else, for it to be a little bit harder packed. It's a regular riding place for all the guys over here. Be interesting to see it when it's at Grand Prix status, though. There's Kevin Strybos. He's in 5th position. Got a little bit tense yesterday, he said, in the qualifying race because he found himself in a position where he was in the lead of Frossard and Cairoli and just panicked a little bit, got a little bit of arm pump, but he'll be fine with this. 5th place in this first moto. That'll do him and the team a world of good. So 171, Pier Filippo Bertuzzo on the Massignani machine, just being lapped there by Strybos, number 22. Nudging aside Lars Olderkamp, 79 there as he comes through. Lars Olderkamp, an MX2 rider last year on the Scott Racing team. On that KTM, there's De Dijker, there's Philipparts, and in the background, the 121, Xavier Borg. So Philipparts has gone through, and he now sits in 7th place. Rui Gonçalves still in 9th. He's 56 seconds down on our race leader, though, Tony Cairoli, with 10 plus 2 to go. Tanel Leok having a quiet ride down in 10th place, the rider who had his first ever World Championship race here back in the 125s in 2001 on a KTM. Sean Simpson, he's made good progress. He's up to 11th place now. Marcus Schiffer's 12th. Christophe Pourcel, well, it's been one of those weekends for the enigmatic Frenchman this weekend. Was never really setting the timing screams alight in the practice sessions or in the qualifying race. And he's down there in 14th place. And in fact, he's dropped down to 15th, 16th place. We've lost Porcel. He's moving down the leaderboard. There he is. He's steadying himself at 16th. So Heron Bracker and Guarnieri have both gone by him on that lap. So Porcel, only 5 points on the board for him at the moment. But we do know that, as we've said it so far in the broadcast that we've aired earlier throughout the course of the day, that if you know your limits and your strong points and your weaknesses, you deal with them. But Christophe Porcel not enjoying riding the sand here of the Netherlands at Valkenswaard, and obviously just seemingly happy, reluctantly, to settle for just some points on the board that he can start building on come Bulgaria at Sevlievo in 2 weeks' time. There's Cairoli. He's our race leader, the Red Bull KTM Factory Racing rider. Was majestic last year around here, and he's pretty much the same again. Cairoli a win and a second here to edge out his teammate Max Nagel, who had a third and a first. Those two first and second overall in the Grand Prix. Was pretty spectacular here as well, Cairoli, in 2010 with a couple of race wins. So we kind of get used to Cairoli performing in the sand circuits, Lierop, Lommel and Valkenswaard. But with 8 minutes plus 2 to go, Cairoli relatively unchallenged at the moment. He's 18.3 seconds clear of Clément de Sal on the Suzuki, and Stephen Frossard, well, he's hanging on in there. He's about a second or so down on Clément de Sal in third place, but certainly he'll be ruining those mistakes that he made, because he's so far handed the advantage to Antonio Cairoli just here. Seven and a half minutes remain on the clock, plus 2 laps. Clément de Sal at the bottom end of the circuit, peeking his lines carefully. He knows he's got his hands full still with the hard-charging Stephen Frossard just behind him, just there on that Monster Energy Yamaha. This is the battle for second position between the Belgian and the French rider. And Stephen Frossard, had he not made those couple of big mistakes earlier on in the race, could probably still be challenging Tony Cairoli for a potential race win, but he's had to regroup and push on, find a way through past Gauthier Paulin and close up to the rear wheel of Clément de Sal there. Number 25 over the jump now on the right side of our screen. But Clément de Sal, this is a testing time for him, because he's approaching the back markers. 300 there, Nico Koskela of Finland on the Ice One Racing Kawasaki, getting out of the way as best he can. There's Tano Leop, number 4, teammate to Clément de Sal, down in 10th position at the moment. Over the Dragon back, or over the Camel's back, he's here on the opposite side, the back side of that Monster Energy rig, away and across from the final corner that leads back up towards the finish line area. Tano Leop, the factory Suzuki rider for this year. Rider down and out in that far point of the circuit. That was the old start straight. Valkenswaard, well, look at that. Right in front of Ken de Dijker, the 215 of Casper Nygaard, who the Storm Racing team rider, 39th last year in the series. Almost interfering with play. But de Dijker, what, 6 seconds down on Kevin Strybos, so barring a late surge, I don't think we're going to see de Dijker gain another position, which means it should be a fine 5th place for. And look at that, Frossard's gone back through. So Frossard now into 2nd position. De Sal looked to have got it under control just a moment ago, so I wonder if we've got an angle there that shows what happened, because De Sal certainly looking mean and menacing and coming back after Stephen Frossard and trying to force him into a mistake, and it looks to be paying off at the moment. And De Sal hard down the inside, is not going to get through here. Going to have to follow Frossard through over the next couple of jumps, but there could be a move around the end of the long straight here. Into the tight left-hander, tight right-hander, sorry, which is where the riders are coming to now, or maybe they run up towards the finish line turn. Trying to get into the rear wheel of the Yamaha rider, gets good drive there, he's going to get squeezed though. Frossard's got the inside line, which one's going to jump here? Neither of them, so both going for the double single combination. De Salvo's going to get the better drive, is it? It's going to be a drag race to the finish line area. He's got the inside going over the next jump into the corner. And it's going to be a commanding position, is it? Neither of these two guys are going to back off. And certainly, Stephen Frossard refuses to lose coming through that turn. He held his line. He was unfazed by the challenge from Clement de Sal. This is where he made the mistake. De Sal probably got caught in amongst the back markers because Frossard got the momentum around the outside here, look, and just lent on the Belgian and went through. A great piece of riding there from Stephen Frossard. Well, Cairoli, 22 seconds clear. Look at that, the immediate fight back there from Clement de Sal as Santu Tienen, the rider there, just about to be lapped. We zitten op 3 minuten 40 banktijden en wat hebben Frossard. Just under 3.5 minutes plus 2 laps remain in this opening MX1 race of the season. Stephen Frossard just a little bit wayward off the top of the hill there under the Monster Energy bridge, but he's done a good job to find a way past Clement de Sal and make it stick during the course of that final lap. But these two riders, possibly two of the stronger competitors, aside from Tony Cairoli, in terms of if you make a mistake and you go back after that rider to salvage that position, you know that those two aren't going to give up. There's Christophe Pourcel. Not looking comfortable in the sand here this weekend, has to be said. He's down the order. And in fact, out of the points now at the moment, looking like he's going to be coming in. Thrown in the white towel in the opening moto, has he? Well, the pit lane entrance was just there. No, he's going to stick it out, I think, as he rides slowly past the work area. He's going to stay out on track. So Christophe Pourcel, not the start to the season that we all expected, many tipping him to be a challenger, and I'm sure he will be during the course of the season, but not getting his championship off to the best possible start. But look at this, Strybos and De Dijker, they're battling over that 5th place. Well, we didn't think that Ken De Dijker would reel in the Belgian, his fellow Belgian, but he has done just that. And De Dijker, number 9 there in 6th place, going after the number 22 of Kevin Strybos for that 5th place. He's alongside him here, and we've seen this manoeuvre before, and it's repeated again in the same way that Frossard went round the outside of De Sal. And De Dijker now into 5th. So Cairoli leads that from Frossard, De Sal, Paulin, and now De Dijker. And he got alongside him here, got good drive over the jump, kept it nice and wide, didn't try to come across too early, more than a couple of lines through there, but he held his nerve, held his own, and in the end, Strybos just backed out of the challenge and hands the 5th place to Ken De Dijker. David Philipparts down in 7th position, Xavier Bourg is 8th, Gonçalves 9th, Tonel Leoc is 10th. Those dark clouds are looming large around the Valkenswaard Euro circuit here. Simpson still 11th, Schiffer 12th, Guarnieri, Bracker, Potazek. That takes us down to 15th place. Mattis Caro down in 16th. Then it's Krestinoff, Barragan, Bonini and Mike Crass. So Krestinoff in the points here on that Motorvision Honda. Stephen Frossard up onto that plateau, gets an ugly kick. De Sal nicely over the triple jump there, gains a lot of time, has to go wide though. He might still have the momentum. Closes right back in on Stephen Frossard. So this battle here for 2nd position doesn't seem to be done and dusted just yet. Cairoli unchallenged though, still consistently lapping here around the 205 mark. These guys are pushing each other into the 204s, and De Sal going after Frossard here with, what, 2.5 laps to go. Stephen Frossard takes a long look over his shoulder, sees Clement de Sal charging around the outside, switching up the lines a little bit. The Suzuki rider, Clement de Sal, the number 25, the second rider in shot on that yellow machine. He's going to try and pull a manoeuvre down the bottom of the hill here, goes long, and he pulls it off as well. Brave move there from Clement de Sal, because you're launching into the unknown. You don't know quite where the holes are that you're going to be landing in. But Clement de Sal making that look so easy. And Clement de Sal now up into second place. Want to see a replay of that, because spectacular riding there, but almost spectacularly off the side of the bike for de Sal. Getting dark out on the racetrack. Down the bottom end. De Sal being urged on by the Belgian fans here. This would be a good performance from him. Really toughing it out. Gets himself over that camelback. Stephen Frossard, well, we know from him as well that he's going to try and fight back as well, even with a lap and a half to go here. Or, sorry, with 2.5 laps to go, because Cairoli still yet to take the 2-lap board. He'll be doing that any moment now, as these guys make their way down the straight and over the tabletop. Clement de Sal, is he going for the triple? Well, there's Rui Gonçalves. Cairoli over the line with a 2:10 that time around. Gonçalves still down there in 9th place. What's the gap between Cairoli and de Sal? 15.2, and it's just a second between de Sal and Frossard. Here's Cairoli picking his way through the slow riders. Heron Bracker just ahead of him, number 61. Look like Matis Caro as well, just being lapped there. That'll be number 91, so already then lapping up to 14th, 15th. He's got probably about another 10 seconds or so up the track. Davide Guarneri and Marcus Schiffer. Cairoli, though, has afforded himself a little bit of time just to back off. Not take any risks here. Certainly different to what he experienced this time a year ago when the opening round was at Sevlievo in Bulgaria. Cairoli there that day. A 7th and a 10th for, 9th, 10th overall. Tweaked his knee at the opening race of the season, but he must have surely been licking his lips and rubbing his hands together at the prospect of coming here for the opening round, knowing that mentally, psychologically, he has the advantage over his rivals when coming to these sandier circuits. You might say that it's not as bumpy or different kind of bumps as usual or whatever, but at the end of the day, if he's learnt to ride sand as well as he has over the past few seasons, then straight away puts him in the perfect frame of mind coming into this opening season. There's Tanel Leoc and Xavier Borg side by side, and there's a back marker involved in as well. And Xavier Borg not giving up the fight just yet. Taking Tanel Leoc all the way to the outside. This is for 8th place. Almost foot pegs in the rear wheel of that Kawasaki, and there's a back marker still there, and that's Sebastian Pourcel, number 11. So both the Pourcel boys struggling around here this weekend. Tanel Leoc just losing out there at the bottom of the hill to Xavier Borg. We're on the final lap. Cairoli already over the line now and through turn 2 here. So the Red Bull Factory KTM rider, last time around 205.4, 205.8 for Clement de Sal. So similar lap times, that gap still 15 seconds. Frossard, though, there in 3rd position. He's not about to let Clement de Sal off the hook. He was a second down as they came over the line, but he's pulled the pin here as Stephen Frossard. We've got back markers lurking just ahead. And we could be in for a bit of a grandstand finish between the 25 and the 183. The 2 riders in shot now. That's the battle for 2nd position. Clement de Sal just picking his way through. It's a horrible part of the circuit there. If you jump short, you've got a heavy landing. If you jump long, you've got a heavy landing. So either way, you've got to suck it up and tough it out. But we are on the final lap. Down the first of the shallow descents here, made worse by the fact of the size of the holes and the braking bumps and the way that the bike is working beneath you as you hit those gnarly pieces of work going down that hill. And you come round, swing up to the top end, and you get it all over again here. The ruts on the jump at the top there, that second Monster Energy step down. Cairoli, look at him through that chicane over the camelback. He's well and truly on his way, is Tony Cairoli here in this opening race. allowed Stephen Frossard to take the pressure in the opening laps. Didn't try to force him into a mistake. Frossard made his own mistakes, running off track a couple of times. And Tony Cairoli there just to pick up the pieces, still tripling his way in into the final corner. And it's going to be a victory here for Tony Cairoli. And KTM's victorious so far here in Valkenswaard. Hurling's in MX2, Cairoli in MX1. Shakes his head as well as we look to De Salle and Frossard. Frossard will probably just run out of time here and lose out to Clément De Salle. A good, gutsy performance from both Clément De Salle and Stephen Frossard as they come over the line second and third. We're waiting for Gauthier Paulin. Paulin any moment now should be coming through. We're on board with Ken de Dijker. So Paulin goes through, and there is Ken de Dijker now. So de Dijker in fifth in the end. Strybos, great ride for him in sixth position. Tony's girlfriend, Jill, on hand just to give him everything he needs in terms of getting himself cleaned up before the interviews. But we'll give you official confirmation in just a moment. But Strybos, the ride of the day for me so far, I think. There's Clément De Salle. He'll probably be fairly pleased with that, I would think. Again, the whole Tommy Searle, Jeffrey Hurling scenario. How far do you push when you know that the guy that you're racing with is probably just that slightly little bit better in sand than you? So just looking down on the timing screen, Rui Gonçalves eventually got up to 10th position. Sean Simpson was 11th, so just give you the rundown. Cairoli then victorious here in the first moto from Clément De Salle. Frossard was third, followed by Paulin, De Dijker, Strybos, Philipparts, Xavier Bourg, Tenoliot and Rui Gonçalves. They were your top 10 here in moto number 1.
De startnummer 7, een 18e plaats voor Gert Christinov, Milko Pobisek een 19e plaats en Anthony Boisser met de TM Factory Bike een 20e positie, 1 WK-punt. En dat betekent geen punten voor Mike.
So you're still with us on MX Live TV. Good to have you immediately after this MX1 race. When we come off air from Motors Television, we will be getting our cameras repositioned because at 15:15 we have our exclusive live studio show. Of course, we've got Jeffrey Hurlings to look forward to, Kevin Strybos and Adam Wheeler, our on-track off-road journalist. But in the meantime, enjoy that image there of Tony Cairoli, who came away with a 19-second advantage over Clément De Salle. Stephen Frossard was third, Gauthier Paulin fourth, Ken de Dijker, Kevin Strybos, Philipparts and Xavier Bourg. Tenoliot was ninth, Rui Gonçalves. A good ride for Sean Simpson on the Monster Energy Yamaha. Marcus Schiffer, equally so, in 12th position. Guarnieri 13th, Matteo Bonini, Mattis Caro, Heron Bracker, Jonathan Barragan, he'll be disappointed with that, in 17th. And then Gert Kresenov, Milko Podizek and Anthony Boissier. Martin Barr just out of the points, so too Christophe Pourcel and Sebastian Pourcel, both of those guys. So Pourcel did then pull out maybe a lap or so after that. So the CP377 Monster Energy Kawasaki team riders, no points on the board for
Tony,
them.
a comfortable race win there for you from the start.
Yeah, you know, I got a good start, and then in the beginning I tried to don't push too hard in the first laps because the track was new and new lines, so I didn't know. And Frossard passed me, and then he was riding not so clean anymore, and he made a few mistakes. Then I had the opportunity to pass him when he made a mistake, and then tried to make some good laps and take some gap and try to control in the end. Some trouble with the lap rider, but should be okay for the next one. The track is really tough.
Good luck for next race.
And it looks tough out there as well. Tony Cairoli just dealing with it slightly better than everybody else, but he'll be looking forward to the second moto. He'll be looking forward to getting a good start as well, just like he did. Don't see too many whole shots from Tony Cairoli, so quite literally getting himself off to the best possible start. He led everybody away. hung it out there for a couple of laps, allowed Frossard to go through, but Frossard made a couple of mistakes. He was there to capitalise, pulled the pin, didn't want to get involved, came away with a comfortable victory in the end. Commander Sal was second, he's down by the podium, and the Rockstar Energy Suzuki rider is waiting to speak to Amy.
Clement, a real fight for second there. That shoulder doesn't seem to be stopping you this weekend.
Yeah, the track is coming really bumpy, and you know, the race is pretty long, and it's not necessary to, I think, to give everything here, and the championship is also long, so I just want to ride for myself and do the best I can.
Well done.
What do they say? You can't win the championship in the first round, you can certainly lose it, and 22 points on the board for Commander Sal on that Suzuki. Certainly going a long way to getting his season off to a good start. Was pushed all the way, though, in the end by the 183 just behind him, Stephen Frossard. But satisfied, I think, is the word you would use to describe Commander Sal's performance in his own self-analysis. He'll be looking forward to the second moto as well, but it's going to be tough conditions a little later on. Here's Stephen Frossard. He's down by the podium. Once again, he's waiting to speak to Amy.
Stephen, a really great start to that race, and then did you start to have some troubles?
Yeah, I take a very good start. I was first in the first corner, but Tonio passed me directly, and after I follow him, my feeling was very good, but after I passed him and I did a lot of mistakes, and I go out of the track 2 times, and after it was difficult because the track was so dangerous and difficult, so we will see in the second moto.
Good luck for next race.
Probably not so much the track being dangerous, just maybe just pushing harder than your limits would have allowed. That was one of the mistakes just there. Another one where he overshot just before the pit lane straight. Good recovery, though, from Stephen Frossard. Again, 20 points, better than no points from that first moto. Still on course for an overall podium here. Just depends, though, which way it's going to be. We don't know whether it's going to be Cairoli, de Sal or Frossard. Maybe even Gauthier Paulin getting in the mix in the second moto as well. But either way, good performances from all 3 riders. And all fairly satisfied, I would say. So far, we've been lucky with the weather. Here's what happened in moto number 1. Kevin Strybos got off to a good start. Paul Sell went with him around the outside, 377, and Frossard came through, though. And then there was a bit of bump and grind there with Paul Sell and 1 or 2 other riders, Kevin Strybos. But up front, Cairoli got caught and passed there by Stephen Frossard. Frossard then took over the leadership, made 1 mistake, and then another big mistake, all within the space of about a half a lap. He had to get back on track, cost him some time, but then he was being harassed by the number 25 of Commander Sal and the 21 of Gauthier Paulin. And trying to regroup, he made this mistake and allowed Paulin and de Sal through. They were then 2nd, 3rd and 4th at that stage. Eventually, though, Commander Sal managed to get himself into 2nd position. Then he dropped to 3rd, and then he found himself being caught and passed again, but he managed to hold on for 2nd position. But the win, though, and no disputing it, was Tony Cairoli, almost 20 seconds clear come the checkered flag. And 25 points on the board for the defending champion. Well, you can see the work on the track being done at the moment, but we're getting ready for a short break here. But don't forget, we've got the studio show at 2:15 on MX Live TV at 2:15.